75-year-old Hackman and his wife, a 63-year-old classical pianist, their German Shepherd dog, all of them tonight mysteriously dead.
A quiet estate in Santa Fe, a legend gone without warning, whispers of something sinister lurking beneath the surface. Hollywood's darkest mystery has just begun to unfold.
Following breaking news developments in the deaths of actor Gene Hackman and his wife, with investigators now calling those deaths suspicious.
Gene Hackman, the Oscar-winning powerhouse behind The French Connection and Unforgiven, has taken his final bow. But this isn't your typical farewell. This mystery has everyone asking what really happened at his secluded Santa Fe estate. On February 26, 2025, authorities weren't called by family or friends, but by a pest control worker who stopped by the couple's home. When nobody answered, he felt something wasn't right and alerted a neighborhood security officer. What that officer saw through the window made him immediately call 911 at 1:45 p.m. Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies arrived at the quiet home on Old Sunset Trail and made a chilling discovery. Hackman, his beloved wife Betsy Arakawa, and their dog were gone, their lives tragically cut short. Despite his towering fame, Hackman had been living quietly since retiring in 2004, far from the spotlight. But now all eyes are back on him for the most heartbreaking reasons. Authorities aren't ruling anything out. Was it a heart attack, an overdose, or something more sinister? In an emotional statement, his daughters Elizabeth and Leslie, along with granddaughter Annie, shared, "He was loved and admired by millions, but to us, he was always just dad and grandpa." While the family grieves, the world is asking one burning question: what really happened? A single death might seem natural, but 2 lives lost under the same roof? That raises serious eyebrows. Sheriff Adin Mendoza revealed the couple had been gone for quite a while before discovery. When police found them, their remains were in a mummified state, a detail that completely derailed the investigation. According to forensic experts, once bodies reach mummification, determining an exact time of death becomes nearly impossible.
As this mummification process takes place, the skin becomes almost like parchment. It's very brittle looking, it's dry.
We may never know when or how Gene Hackman and his wife actually passed. There aren't obvious signs of foul play yet, but investigators aren't ruling anything out. Just when we thought this case couldn't get more perplexing, a stunning twist emerged. Initially, authorities reported the passing of Bear, the couple's German Shepherd, but investigators now reveal it was actually Zena, a 12-year-old mixed-breed Kelpie found near Betsy's body. Even more heartbreaking, Zena likely died from starvation, while Bear and Nikita, the other dogs, survived by roaming freely. This crucial detail has transformed the investigation, potentially pointing towards something vital about the timeline of their final moments. If things weren't strange enough, a local gas company detected a tiny gas leak from a stove burner during inspection. Coincidence? Maybe. But officials insist the leak was too small to have caused the deaths. Now things get even more fascinating. Dr. Michael Baden, one of the most respected forensic pathologists in the world, just dropped a bombshell about this case. According to Baden, there was no carbon monoxide involved. Instead, Hackman allegedly died from severe heart disease, the #1 silent killer in America. He suffered cardiac arrest, collapsed in the mudroom, and that was it. But here's the detail that sent shivers down my spine. Baden revealed that Hackman's pacemaker may have held the key to the timeline of his passing. If the data is correct, Hollywood's legendary actor could have been lying there for 9 days before discovery.
Hackman might have been dead for 9 days, according to what his pacemaker showed.
9 days. Let that sink in. And what about Betsy Arakawa? Her body showed decomposition and mummification, meaning she had been gone for quite a while too. That's not the kind of detail you hear every day in Hollywood tragedies. This raises even more questions. Cell phones haven't given authorities any new evidence just yet.
Investigators been able to get into the obtained cell phones?
Not at this time. We have them in our possession. Those were collected yesterday. It's going to take a process.
And the autopsy results? They've only confused people more. Parts of their bodies were modified. What does that even mean? Let's not forget there was a prescription bottle and scattered pills found next to Arakawa's remains.
Do you believe it may be possible that that prescription could be related in any way to the deaths that we've seen here?
That's obviously very important evidence at the scene. That information was collected.
For days, speculation has been running wild. Did Hackman and Arakawa make a joint decision to leave this world together? Well, an expert medical examiner is shutting down that theory, and his reasoning is sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Dr. James Gill, Connecticut's chief medical examiner, just dropped a major revelation. Everything about the scene suggests this wasn't planned. First, there were no external injuries, meaning nothing violent happened. Then came the toxicology tests, which delivered their own bombshell: no carbon monoxide poisoning.
Sheriff Adon Mendoza said,
Both individuals tested negative for carbon monoxide.
But the real game changer is where their bodies were found. Gill explains that in cases of joint suicide, couples are almost always found together, side by side, often in bed. That wasn't the case here. Hackman was discovered collapsed in the mudroom, while Arakawa's body was in a completely separate area, her hands and feet already mummified. If they had planned this together, why weren't they together when they passed? Instead, Jill believes they may have died from sheer heartbreak. Maybe Hackman collapsed first. The legendary actor had a history of heart disease and a pacemaker, hardly shocking for a man in his 90s. But why did Betsy die too? Gill suggests that seeing her husband lifeless might have been enough to stop her own heart. The human body can only take so much stress before it breaks. The surge of adrenaline, panic, and heartbreak could have sent her into a fatal spiral. Or could one of them, overcome with grief, have made a desperate decision? A prescription bottle and scattered pills were found near Betsy's body. Could she have been so grief-stricken that she took matters into her own hands? It was also reported that the house's front door was unlocked and open, and Hackman was found fully clothed with sunglasses nearby. Authorities believe this indicates a fall. Police aren't ruling out overdose or heart attack theories, but they predict it could take time before the investigation progresses anywhere.
Finally, as sheriff's officials gather information, it's worth pointing out that this could take weeks or months before we know exactly what the cause of death is. That's because these medical examiner cases often take time.
This shocking case has left more questions than answers. But according to Paul Morrow, a retired NYPD inspector, there's one critical clue that could finally unlock the truth: hiding in plain sight. With no security cameras inside the house, many assumed evidence would be scarce. But Mauro says that couldn't be further from the truth. The public shouldn't jump to conclusions, he warns. Instead, investigators are zeroing in on digital evidence, security cameras from the gated community, street surveillance, and even ring cameras from neighbors. Why could this be the game changer? Gated communities almost always have cameras at entry points. Plus, street surveillance could track movement near the home, with the bodies already mummified when found. Forensic experts admitted they may never determine exactly when the couple passed. But if cameras caught a car arriving, a suspicious visitor, or even a last sighting of the couple alive, it could finally crack this heartbreaking case wide open. So what do you think could be the real reason behind Gene Hackman's mysterious passing? What do you think actually went down? Let us know in the comments.